Hi, welcome back to the Coin Studio. This ordinary 20-cent coin in your pocket could be worth over $15,500, and you'd never know unless you looked closely. These aren't just coins. They're hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Let's reveal the top 10 most valuable Australian 20-cent pieces ever struck. Let's moving on. Number 1. 1980 Australian 20-cent coin. Imagine holding a seemingly ordinary coin in your hand. Just another 20-cent piece from your loose change? But what if I told you that a particular 1980 Australian 20-cent coin could be worth over $1,000? Welcome to the fascinating world of rare errors and high-demand collectibles. The 1980 Australian 20-cent coin was struck at a time when the Royal Australian Mint was handling a significant volume of coin production. Millions were minted, and most ended up in circulation for regular daily use. But among these millions, a few incredibly rare and highly desirable error coins emerged, the kind that make collectors' hearts race. One of the most sought-after versions of the 1980 20-cent coin is the off-center strike error. These coins are instantly noticeable because part of the design appears shifted. The Queen's portrait or the platypus may be missing from one edge, and the blank planche shows through. Such striking errors happen when the coin blank isn't correctly seated in the press. Then there's an even rarer find: wrong planche strikes. Some 1980 20-cent coins were accidentally struck on planches meant for other denominations or countries. These minting anomalies are extremely scarce, and collectors have paid up to $5,500 at auction for one in pristine condition, depending on the error type and grade. Visually, the standard 1980 20-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, with the iconic Australian platypus on the reverse, a design crafted by Stuart Devlin. While ordinary examples are common and worth face value, those with significant mint errors are anything but ordinary. Collectors today seek out these hidden treasures, scouring coin fairs, auctions, and even pocket change for that elusive 1980 coin with the twist. The demand is fueled by the rarity of genuine errors and the thrill of owning a piece of minting history that shouldn't have existed. So next time you come across a 1980 20-cent coin, take a closer look. You might just be holding a tiny fortune in the palm of your hand. Number 2. 1967 Australian 20-cent coin. When Australia transitioned to decimal currency in 1966, it marked the beginning of a new era in the nation's coinage. But it was the following year, 1977, that gave birth to one of the most collectible 20-cent coins in circulation. While millions were minted, the 1967 Australian 20-cent coin has quietly become a favorite among collectors, not just for its age, but also for its growing scarcity and high grades. The obverse of the coin bears the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machin, while the reverse features the graceful and instantly recognizable platypus, a symbol of Australia's unique fauna. This Stuart Devlin design is elegant, balanced, and timeless. Now, at first glance, the 1967 coin may not appear particularly rare, but here's the twist. Finding one in high uncirculated or mint state condition has become increasingly difficult. That's because most of the coins were heavily circulated for decades, and very few were preserved in pristine form. Over time, natural wear, tarnish, and handling have taken their toll. Collectors today actively hunt for uncirculated said 20-cent coin, especially those that have been professionally graded MS64 or higher. These coins can command prices upwards of $13,000 or more, depending on the clarity of the strike, luster, and overall eye appeal. Adding to its desirability is the fact that some examples from 1967 exhibit die cracks, doubling, and other minor minting anomalies, which can boost their value even further. Such varieties attract error collectors, who seek unusual flaws that make a coin stand out from the crowd. And let's not forget the historical appeal. This coin is a relic of post-decimal Australia. It's a tangible reminder of a time when the country was embracing change, innovation, and national identity through its coinage. For many collectors, owning a 1967 20-cent coin is like holding a piece of Australian history in silver-colored copper-nickel form. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, the 1967 20-cent coin deserves a place in your collection, not just for its age, but for its rising value, charm, and connection to a pivotal moment in Australian currency. Number 3. 1999 Australian 20-cent coin. The 1999 Australian 20-cent coin is one of those fascinating modern coins that proves how even recent issues can command serious value. If you know what to look for, At face value, the 1999 20-cent coin seems ordinary, but lurking in that year's production is one of the most incredible minting mistakes in Australian decimal history. The double obverse error, a rare mistrike where the coin features Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on both sides. This shocking anomaly happened due to a minting accident, where two obverse dies were mistakenly placed in the press, instead of one obverse and one reverse. As a result, a handful of 1999 20-cent coins were struck with two heads, an error that should never have escaped the mint's quality control. These so-called two-headed coins are extraordinarily rare and have achieved auction prices as high as $7,500 or more, depending on the condition and visibility of the strike. Their novelty and shock value make them highly desirable, not just to Australian collectors, but to error collectors worldwide. Even without the double obverse, the 1999 20-cent coin is considered interesting. It was produced toward the end of the 20th century, during a time of major technological and political change. Its presence in coin albums often fills a critical gap in decimal sets. The standard coin bears the mature portrait of Queen Elizabeth, ear by Ian Rank Broadley, the version introduced in 1998, and, of course, the beloved platypus on the reverse. But if you come across one of these with both sides showing the Queen's portrait, you're holding a rare piece of minting history that few will ever see in person. Collectors prize the 1999 double obverse error not only for its rarity, but also for its symbolic uniqueness, a literal twist on the expected, a deviation from the norm, and a conversation piece in any serious coin collection. So check your 1999 coins carefully, because one of the most valuable 20-cent pieces in the country might be hiding in your old coin jar, disguised as just another bit of change. Number 4. 1972 Australian 20-cent coin. In the world of coin collecting, mintage numbers tell a big part of the story, and the 1972 Australian 20-cent coin has one of the lowest mintages of the entire series. This coin isn't rare because of an error or a striking anomaly. It's rare simply because not many were made, and even fewer have survived in mint condition. Only 5.8 million 20-cent coins were struck in 1972, a striking contrast to the tens of millions minted in other years. That makes it one of the lowest mintage coins in the Australian decimal 20-cent series. While 5.8 million may seem like a large number, in numismatics it's relatively small, especially when you factor in decades of wear, circulation loss, and damaged coins. What truly makes the 1972 coin valuable is its condition. Heavily circulated examples are still quite affordable and can be found for under $1. But coins that have been preserved in uncirculated or near uncirculated grades fetch much higher prices, with premium specimens reaching $12,000 to $2,500 or more at auctions and through private collectors. Like other coins of the series, the 1972 20-cent piece features the elegant platypus on the reverse, the enduring symbol of Australia's unique wildlife. On the obverse is Queen Elizabeth II, her regal profile depicted in the classic Arnold machine portrait. Due to its relatively low production, run and rising demand from collectors seeking to complete full decimal sets, the 1972 coin has become a key date. It's the kind of coin that quietly becomes more valuable over time, not because of flashy errors, but because supply and demand are in constant tension. Adding a high-grade 1972 20-cent coin to your collection today is considered a smart, long-term investment by many numismatists. With each passing year, the number of quality specimens diminishes, and competition for surviving examples only grows fiercer. So if you stumble across a 1972 coin with strong detail, full luster, and minimal wear, don't let it go. You might just have a sleeper treasure in your hands, quietly gaining value with each passing decade. Number 5. 1975 Australian 20-cent coin. At first glance, the 1975 Australian 20-cent coin might appear common, just another coin in your spare change. But in the world of numismatics, appearances can be deceiving. While millions were minted in 1975, what makes this coin fascinating is the growing collector demand for high-grade examples and the occasional appearance of minting errors that elevate its value far beyond face. The 1975 20-cent coin was produced at a time when Australia's decimal system was nearly a decade old. The country was rapidly modernizing, and the Royal Australian Mint was busy meeting the needs of a growing population. Despite this, only around 17 million coins were struck, significantly fewer than other years like 1966 or 1981, where production soared past the hundreds of millions. What truly excites collectors, however, is condition and uniqueness. Circulated examples of the 1975 coin are plentiful, but pristine, uncirculated specimens with full luster and no wear are scarce. These coins, especially when graded mint state 64 and above, have fetched up to $2,200 or more, depending on the quality and the grading authority. But that's not all. A small number of error coins from this year have emerged, including clipped planchets, die cracks, and off-center strikes. These minting anomalies are rare and command strong premiums at auctions, particularly when the error is visually dramatic and the coin remains in good condition. Design-wise, the coin stays true to the classic Australian 20-cent template. The obverse shows Queen Elizabeth II in the youthful machine portrait, while the reverse features Stuart Devlin's flowing platypus. It's streamlined, swirling water design, creating a sense of natural motion rarely seen in coin art. Today, the 1975 20-cent coin has become a quiet favorite among dedicated collectors of decimal coinage. It represents a perfect blend of historical context, moderate mintage, aesthetic appeal, and investment potential. For the savvy collector, this is not just a coin, it's a subtle treasure, waiting to be discovered in full mint brilliance. Number 6. 1981 Australian 20-cent coin. Now we turn to a coin with one of the most unusual production backstories in Australia's decimal currency series, the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin. While it's true that hundreds of millions were struck that year, what makes the 1981 issue so fascinating is not how many were made, but where they were made. Due to overwhelming domestic demand, the Royal Australian Mint outsourced part of its 20-cent coin production to the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint. This decision created multiple varieties of the same year's coin, and with it, a numismatic mystery that collectors still chase to this day. Coins minted in Canada can sometimes be identified by a slightly different metal composition and strike characteristics. While visually similar, they may carry subtle die differences, sharper rim edges, slightly different spacing in the lettering, or unique luster patterns. These Canadian-struck 1981 20-cent coins are extremely desirable, particularly in high grades or with full mint brilliance. But the real stars are the error coins, most notably those struck on foreign planchets or featuring misstruck dies. Some 1981 20-cent coins have been found struck on 10-cent blanks, producing undersized coins with partial designs. Others exhibit off-center strikes, double strikes, and lamination errors, all of which can fetch up to $14,000 or more, depending on severity and condition. Collectors around the world prize the 1981 issue not just for these anomalies, but also because it tells a story of logistical necessity, international cooperation, and unintentional rarity. It's a reminder that even modern coins can become legends when circumstances and mistakes align in just the right way. Whether you're hunting for that elusive Canadian variety or hoping to spot an error that slipped through quality control, the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin offers one of the most compelling narratives in modern decimal collecting. What was once mass-produced is now a window into minting history, and potentially a valuable find hiding in plain sight. Number 7. 1976 Australian 20-cent coin. As the mid-1970s progressed, Australia's decimal coinage became a well-established part of daily life. Yet, the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin stands out from the pack for several reasons, making it a surprisingly important piece for collectors today. Produced by the Royal Australian Mint, the 1976 20-cent coin had a moderate mintage of approximately 27 million, making it more common than the low mintage 1972, but still significantly scarcer than coins like the 1981. However, like many coins from this era, its true value emerges when condition, rarity, and anomalies intersect. Most 1976 coins entered circulation almost immediately, which means finding well-preserved examples in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition has become a growing challenge. High-grade coins, especially those that have been professionally graded MS65 and above, have achieved prices ranging from $8,400 to over $8,600, particularly when they exhibit sharp details and full mint luster. Adding to the intrigue are the error varieties. Some 1976 20-cent coin have been found with partial collar errors, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws. These minting defects transform an ordinary coin into a valuable collector's item, sometimes boosting its price several-fold depending on the visual impact of the error. From a design perspective, the 1976 issue continues the same artistic tradition. Arnold Mason's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and Stuart Devlin's platypus on the reverse. But it's the context of the mid-70s, a time of economic change, evolving technology, and shifts in coin production standards that gives this coin added depth. More than just a coin, the 1976 20-cent piece is a representation of a decade where even utilitarian objects like change carried with them a subtle elegance. For collectors building a full decimal set, this coin is a must-have. And for investors, it's an opportunity, a piece of silver-hued, copper nickel that proves rarity and beauty don't always come from age alone, but from preservation and precision. So next time you spot a 1976 20-cent coin with its delicate shine and crisp details, think twice before tossing it aside. You might just be holding a highly collectible gem, and a surprisingly valuable one at that. Number 8. 2000 Australian 20-cent coin. The dawn of the new millennium brought with it an atmosphere of excitement and transformation, and the 2000 Australian 20-cent coin stands as a numismatic time capsule from this transitional era. While billions of coins passed through the hands of Australians that year, a select few 20-cent coins from 2000 are worth far more than just pocket change. They are highly prized treasures due to extraordinary minting mistakes. Struck at the Royal Australian Mint, the standard 2000 20-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II's more mature portrait by Ian Rank Broadley, a design adopted in 1998, and the ever-iconic reverse showing Stuart Devlin's flowing underwater depiction of the Australian platypus. These coins were minted in large numbers for daily use, so the majority are still very common and trade at face value. However, not all 2000 20-cent coins are created equal. Over the years, collectors have discovered several striking errors and off-metal varieties that have pushed values well beyond expectations. Among the most notable are coins struck on incorrect planchets, for example, a 20-cent coin struck on a 10-cent, or even a foreign coin blank. One such incredible find was a 2000 20-cent coin, mistakenly struck on an aluminum planchet, giving it an unusual lightweight and silver-gray color that stood out from the standard copper-nickel issue. These rare errors are seldom found, and when they surface, they can sell for upwards of $6,500, especially if verified by third-party grading services. Other minting anomalies from 2000 include clipped planchets, die cracks, and even double strikes, all of which dramatically increase the coin's value among error collectors. What makes the 2000 20-cent coin especially interesting is that it belongs to the more modern decimal era, where such striking errors were supposed to be rare due to enhanced minting technology. That's what makes them so appealing. They are unexpected. Errors from a high-tech mint, making them true anomalies. So next time you're flipping through a handful of change or reviewing a decimal set, keep a close eye on the 2000 20-cent coin. Because one of the rarest and most valuable modern mint errors could be hiding in plain sight. A true hidden gem of the new millennium. Number 9. 1968 Australian 20-cent coin. The 1968 Australian 20-cent coin might not get as much attention as the very first decimal coins issued in 1966, but it holds a quiet strength in the world of coin collecting, especially when it comes to scarcity and high-grade condition. As the third year of decimal coinage in Australia, the 1968 20-cent coin represents the solidification of a national currency system still in its infancy, and its value is steadily growing. This coin was produced exclusively at the Royal Mint in London, not in Australia due to production pressures at the time. That alone makes it a standout among its peers. It's one of the few Australian coins not struck domestically that year. This overseas minting also led to slight variations in strike quality and finish, which makes high-grade examples highly desirable among decimal enthusiasts. With over 28 million coins minted, the 1968 20-cent coin is not inherently rare in circulation, but the vast majority have seen decades of wear, scratches, and discoloration. The real challenge lies in finding examples that remain in brilliant, uncirculated or mint state condition. Coins graded MS64 or above, with deep luster and strong strike detail, can command prices of $7,200 to $7,700 or more, especially if they're free from contact marks. Collectors are also intrigued by minor die varieties from this year. Some examples exhibit die wear, rim cuds or small planchet flaws, and while these may not always command large premiums, they add to the narrative and uniqueness of each coin. Design-wise, the coin follows the classic formula. Arnold Machine's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and Stuart Devlin's sleek, water-swirled platypus on the reverse. What makes this particular year special is not a radical design or a massive error, but rather its quiet historical importance and increasing rarity in gem condition. As interest in the early years of decimal coinage continues to rise, the 1968 20-cent coin is becoming a favorite, target for long-term collectors. It's not flashy, but it's foundational, and the best examples are appreciating steadily with each passing year. If you happen to come across one in mint state, hold on to it. It might just be one of the smartest additions you can make to your collection. Number 10, 1966 Australian 20-cent coin. Every collector knows the first year of issue is always something special, and the 1966 Australian 20-cent coin is no exception. As part of the historic launch of decimal currency in Australia, the 1966 issue marked a pivotal transition from the old imperial system to the decimalized dollar and cent, forever changing the face of Australian money. This coin was released alongside the rest of the inaugural decimal series on 14 February 1966, a date that remains etched into the minds of collectors and historians alike. With a mintage of over 58 million coins, the 1966 20-cent piece is far from rare in terms of numbers. But here's the catch: most have been heavily circulated for over 5 decades. Finding pristine, uncirculated specimens from the original release is now becoming increasingly difficult and increasingly valuable. A standout feature of this coin is the Arnold machine of verse, a youthful and graceful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, paired with the stunning platypus designed by Stuart Devlin, which became a lasting symbol of the 20-cent denomination. Devlin's artistic representation of Australia's unique wildlife still resonates today, and his swirling waterlines and minimalist detail make this design one of the most recognizable in Australian coinage. The 1966 20-cent coin is especially prized in mint rolls, proof sets, or as uncirculated singles, where values can exceed $1,200, $2,500, depending on grading and presentation. Coins graded MS65 and above, with full original luster, fetch top dollar from collectors, aiming to complete first-year decimal sets in the highest condition possible. There are also a few known error coins from 1966, including examples struck on 10-cent planchets, misaligned dies, and weak strikes. These varieties can further enhance the value, sometimes doubling the coin's worth depending on visibility and rarity. But perhaps more than any price tag, the 1966 20-cent coin holds emotional and cultural value. It was the beginning of a new monetary chapter in Australia, a bridge between tradition and modernity. For older Australians, this coin evokes the memory of an entire nation adapting to change. For younger collectors, it represents a meaningful starting point for any decimal coin journey. In the end, the 1966 Australian 20-cent coin isn't just a collectible, it's a cornerstone. Whether you're investing in its market potential or honoring its historical significance, this is one coin that deserves a special place in any serious collection. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into some of Australia's most fascinating and valuable 20-cent coins. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content about rare coins, hidden treasures, and their true market value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow collectors. Your support helps keep this journey through coin history alive. Until next time, happy collecting!